we shall look into pronouns. What are pronouns? Pronouns are words which substitute for a noun, a whole noun phrase also, and several noun phrases too. Now, first let us try to understand how do they substitute for a noun. I have given you an example here. I live in a big house and you live in a small one. Now, instead of repeatedly telling you, big house, I have used what one? A small one. That is a substitute for a noun. It is substituting what? A noun. I am substituting a big house for a one. Big is what? You know pretty well, it is an adjective. I am substituting house for what? One. That is pronoun, substituting. It substitutes for a whole phrase, that is a noun phrase. My professor is going out. Now, instead of telling my professor will be back this evening, I am substituting for a whole noun phrase, that is my professor will be back this evening. I am telling which word? He will be back this evening. And the third way in which you understand a pronoun is that it refers to some aspects of the situation directly. Direct reference, such as it's going to rain, it is hot today. So, it functions as what? A direct reference. So, there are three ways we can understand the word pronoun. It substitutes for a noun, it substitutes for a whole noun phrase or several noun phrases. The third one is that it refers directly to some aspect of the situation. Now, having understood the word pronouns, now we shall look into the features of a pronoun. I am sorry for the error, features of pronoun. The first feature is that they occur as subject. She bought a car. Car is a what? An object. She is what? Subject. So, pronouns first occur as subject. Now, we are understanding the positioning. They also occur as object. Now, all young people admired him. They occur as what? Him. All young people admired him. They are occurring as what? An object, him. All young people admired him. Third, they occur in a prepositional phrase also. The children played with him. They do not occur with modifier. If I say a big car, you cannot have a sentence such as a big it. A man outside, he outside, you shall not have a sentence. So, the first feature what we saw of a pronoun is they occur as a subject, she bought a car. They occur as an object, all young people admired him as an object. They occur in a prepositional phrase. They usually do not occur with modifiers. The other feature of pronoun is that pronouns show a distinction in number between the singular and the plural. But this distinction is marked by different forms of pronouns and not by the addition of the suffix s, as in the case of nouns. In nouns, we saw how in the yesterday's class in terms of number, we saw how the singular and plural form is formed. In plural form, the general addition of s suffix is seen. Here, there is no suffix to be added, but it is only a marker to show the distinction in number between the singular and plural. What are the singular pronouns? I, he, she, it are the singular pronouns. What are the plural pronouns? We, they are plural pronouns. Now, what is first person pronoun? In first person, you have pronouns I, we. In second person, you have pronouns you. In third person, you have pronouns he, she, it and they. Now, let us look into the types of pronouns. Pronouns can be divided into different types depending on the functions they perform and the meaning they convey. Now, we have classified the division based on what? The functions they perform and the meaning they convey. First one is central pronouns, second one is reciprocal pronouns, third one is demonstrative pronouns, fourth one is relative pronouns, fifth one is interrogative pronoun, sixth one is demonstrative pronoun, seventh one is indefinite pronouns. I repeat once again: central pronouns, reciprocal pronouns, demonstrative pronouns, relative pronouns, interrogative pronouns, then indefinite pronouns. First, let us look into central pronouns. Central pronouns are used to express contrast of person, gender and number. How are they used? They are used to express contrast of person, gender and number. They are of three types: personal pronouns, reflexive pronouns and possessive pronouns. We shall study one by one. Personal pronouns. Personal pronouns are those used to identify the speaker or speakers, addressee or addressees and others. Now, this is personal pronoun. If I am speaking, it is speaker. If we are speaking, it is speakers. This is the difference that the personal pronoun makes of. You are speaking, it is addressee. You are speaking, it is addressees. He, she, it and they are speaking, it is others. This is the role of personal pronoun. Reflexive pronoun. The reflexive pronouns refer back to a noun or a pronoun in the same clause. Now, how are we to understand it? They always end in self or selves. Look at the sentences. The boy hurt himself. Now, how am I to understand the word himself? It is him plus self. The boy hurt him plus self. So, it is referring back to the boy. The boy hurting himself. The girl looked at herself in the mirror, referring back once again to the girl, herself. It also ends with what? Selves. They washed themselves. Them plus selves, themselves. These are reflexive pronouns. Certain reflexive pronouns are used for emphasis. What are they? The dance itself is very ordinary, but the music is excellent. Look at this sentence. The dance itself is very ordinary, but the music is excellent. Look at the word itself. the dance itself is very ordinary. It is used for what? Emphasis. What is the emphasis here? Though the dance was ordinary, which was excellent? The music was excellent. So it is used to give emphasis to what? The ordinariness of the dance, how ordinary the dance was, how excellent the music was. The second sentence, she repaired the heater herself. Once again what? It is emphasis. Now under reflexive pronouns, you have certain idiomatic expressions. What are they? These idiomatic expressions, I have given you two expressions here. Enjoy yourself, help yourselves. All these are idiomatic expressions used in what? In reflective pronouns. Now, as we have seen in these examples, reflexive pronouns agree with what? With the noun or pronoun. It refers back in person, number and gender. The second pronoun that we are going to see, the third pronoun that we are going to see is under the major heading of central pronouns is possessive pronouns. Possessive pronouns are generally used to indicate what? Ownership. They occur in two forms. As determiners in the noun phrase, that is the first example I have given, they occur as determiners in a noun phrase. The second is that they occur as independent pronouns. Now, what is an example of as determiners in the noun phrase? Their bike is green in color. Now, where is the pronoun here? Their. Their bike is what in color? Is green in color. Your house is beautiful. Now, they have occurred here as determiners in the determiners position. The second one is, it occurs as independent pronouns. This pen is hers. Hers is a pronoun. That car is yours. Yours is a pronoun. The second division of pronouns is reciprocal. What is the meaning of reciprocal pronoun? Reciprocal pronouns are used to show a two-way relationship, as in, they cheated one another. It's a two-way relationship. Both of them cheated one another. They blamed each other. Both of them blamed each other. You should help one another. Once again, it is also a reciprocal relationship. They blamed each other. They cheated one another is also a reciprocal relationship. You can also say they blamed each other. They cheated one another. Now, the third pronoun that we shall look into is relative pronouns. Relative pronouns are used to link the relative clause to the head of the noun phrase. Look at the sentences. I met my friend who had just returned from work. Now, this is a pronoun, who. Now, which is the head of the noun phrase? My friend. I met my friend, which is the head of the noun phrase. Now, what does it give you an explanation? It gives you an explanation about the friend who had just returned from work. The old man whom you saw is my grandfather, which is a relative pronoun here, whom. What is the head of the noun phrase? Old man. The car that I use has an inbuilt heater. Now, which is the pronoun here? That. Which is the head of the noun phrase? The car. She has received the gift which we sent her yesterday. Now, which is the pronoun? Which. Now, which is the head of the noun phrase? The gift. So, it talks about what? It talks about the head of the noun phrase. It is used as what? A link in the relative clause. Now, there is also another pronoun called relative compound pronouns. This pronoun is compounded by which word? By the word ever. Whoever, whenever, whatever. This is a relative compound pronoun. Whoever speaks the best wins the prize. Whoever. I will meet you whenever I come to Bangalore. Whenever. Relative pronoun. I will give you whatever you like. Relative pronoun. Whatever. The fourth division of pronoun is interrogative pronouns. Different pronouns are used in the case of animate and inanimate nouns. In the case of an animate noun, we use the word who. Who is the boy? Who was the person working here? In the case of inanimate, we use the word whose. Whose book is this? Or whose bike is this? Look at the way it is used. Once again, in the case of an animate noun, whom did they select as a leader? The word whom is used as a interrogative pronoun. Which is a building that you wish to sell? Here, which is what? An inanimate noun. Which is associated with what? Which is associated with building. So, now in the four examples you have seen, who is associated with animate, whose is associated with inanimate, whom is associated with animate, which is associated with inanimate. Use of what and which under interrogative pronouns refers to what? Contrast between definite and indefinite meaning. Look at those sentences. What watches did you buy? When I use the word what watches, there is a huge choice. There is an open choice. There is a huge choice of something like, let us say, some 20, 30 brands of watches you have. Whereas, when I use the word which watches did you buy, it is a definite choice, not an indefinite choice, and this choice is between a small number of alternatives. The number of alternatives that you have is limited. It is not as vast and wide open as when we use the word what. What ಅನ್ನು ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸಿದಾಗ ಈ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಚಾಯ್ಸಸ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. But whereas when we use the word which, the alternatives we have is limited. The fifth pronoun is demonstrative pronouns. That, this, these, those. Now, what are these demonstrative pronouns? These demonstrative pronouns are generally used to express a contrast between someone and something near and someone and something distant. Now, the meanings of nearness and distance is conveyed, could be the way you perceive also. Look at the difference. This is an interesting article. This looks something very near to you because this is how you feel this article, how this article is all about. Whereas, if you look at the second sentence, that was a boring piece of news. This particular sentence, that looks what? Something distant. That was a boring piece of news. That. This is the difference. And it shows the contrast between what? Something near and something far or distance. It not only shows the contrast between someone or something near or someone or something distant, it also denotes the difference in attitude. As in, what has this friend of yours done? This attitude is something that you can understand. What has that friend of yours done? This is also an attitude. It reflects an attitude. When I said this friend, something near, that friend, something far. We move on to the sixth division, indefinite pronouns. Indefinite pronouns are those that convey a less definite meaning. There are two types of indefinite pronouns. One is compound pronouns and pronouns with of. Two types. This is compound pronouns, one, and pronouns with what structure? Of structure. Now, compound pronouns, the first section we shall understand. Everyone, everybody, everything, someone, somebody, something, nobody, nothing, no one. Now, these are a small list of compound pronouns. Now, what does it convey? These compound pronouns convey one major feature. What is that? Lack of specificity. There is no specificity at all in the understanding of the compound pronoun. Look at the sentence. Someone came to see you. You are not very specific about it. It could be anybody. It could be any Tom, Dick or Harry, any A, B or C. When I say everybody likes you, it could be anybody, all of them. I am talking in one whole group. Now, what is the difference between the two? Now, which one should I use? The use of pronouns ending with one is more elegant than that of those ending in body. Now, which is the most polished way of putting things across? The most polished way of putting things across is with the use of one, someone, some, everyone, not everybody, somebody, anyone, everyone. This is how it appeals to people. So, generally, in a very polite way of putting things across, we use the word pronouns ending with which word? O-N-E, than everybody. Now, what about pronouns with of? Each, either, much, many, more, most, a few, fewer, fewest, a little, less, some, any, one, none, neither, few, little. Now, these are the list of pronouns that come with which structure? Of structure. Let us take one example. None of the students attended the seminar. Look at the word of. Now, none of the students attended the seminar. None of the. None, none of the. None of the students, or none of the students attended the seminar. All of us came home. All of us came home. All of us came home. Now, all came home. None of the students attended the seminar takes with structure of structure with them. Similarly, I will give you example of the word few. Few of the people liked this project. few liked this project, or few of the people liked this project. None attended the seminar, or none of the students attended the seminar. All came home, or all of us came home. Now, in this particular construction, you have seen there are several words which may occur alone or with the help of which structure? With the help of structure. Each, either, much, many, more, most, a few, fewer, fewest, a little, less, some, any, one, none, neither, few, little. Having understood different types of pronouns, we have to understand the special uses of pronouns. I have taken the uses of one. The pronoun one is used in different ways to convey different meanings. In the numerical sense, I can say, I will take one book. Now, what does it denote? It denotes in the numerical sense. I will take one book. It is used to substitute for a singular or a plural noun. That is this the one she had seen, or these are the ones that I wear or I wear. It is used as what? Substitute for a singular or a plural noun. Is this the one she had seen? A substitute. Or these are the ones I wear. Third one, it can be used to mean people in general, a very common saying. What is that? One should not spend money. One should not spend money. One should not cheat people. One should not hurt people. And you can also use you can be used in the place of one. Now, instead of the word one, you can substitute with the word what? You. You can be used in the place of one. Now, what is the difference? One is formal and you is informal. Now, you should not spend money unnecessarily. You can use here. For people in general, you can substitute with what? You can substitute with the word you. But when I say one is what? Formal. Whereas you is what? You is informal. These are the special uses which doesn't come in any of the divisions that we have seen while understanding the function and the meaning of pronouns. Uses of some and any. Some has a positive implication. Any has a negative implication. Now, if we replace it, notice the use of ones to replace implication in the following sentence. Now, did someone tell the police? It suggests that the speaker expresses that the police has been told. Now, if I say that, did anyone tell the police? It has a negative implication. When I say someone, I mean to say that someone here denotes what? The information should be told to the police. Whereas here, did anyone tell the police? does not imply any definite expectation. When I use someone, there is what is called as definite expectation. Definite expectation is what? Definite. When I use anyone, the expectation is not definite. The difference between the uses of some and any is the reason why it is more polite to ask. How it is more polite to ask, would you like something to drink? When I say something, this something denotes what? Being polite. Now, if I say, would you like anything? Now, the same something implies the speaker express and would like the addressee to accept it. Here it is polite. If I say something, I wish that you should accept my invite, my offering to you. Whereas the use of any hints that the speaker thinks that the addressee will not accept. Here it looks as though the person will not accept. He is not going to, sorry for the short form, accept. So, these are some of the minor changes when you use the words. The pronoun we also has several uses. In the plural form, it is referred to as a single person. When we use pronoun, in which form? In the plural form. It is here used as single person. Now, what is the reference? When we talk of authorial we, when the author of a book writes, when an author of a book talks about his book, he generally says, we will discuss this book in detail. Even in my lecture, I shall say, we will understand. That means what? It is referred to as single person. Secondly, in the editorial of the newspaper, editorial in Kannada would be Sampadakiya. In the editorial of the newspaper, we have already seen in the sentence, which sentence? As we have shown, as we have felt, as we like to say. When the word we is used, it is used in what? As a single person. The third way to use is the royal we. What is a royal we? When the queen or king says, when the queen of the country or the king of the country says, we are happy. Here we refers what? Once again to a single person. The uses of we is continued here. It can also refer to a third person. It could be sarcastic in certain situation. Now, we are in a foul mood today. What is it? Sarcasm. You are feeling very unhappy about the situation today. So, when you say we are in a foul mood today, you mean to say that you are not happy about the situation. Now, let us say how pronouns you, they and we are used. It refers to people in general. When I say you cannot borrow book from this library. Sometimes you see this instruction also. When I say you cannot borrow book, it means to understand that nobody can borrow book from this library. It is meant only for what? For reference. It also refers to group or groups. Which one? We. Given you example of you. Now I am going to give you example of we. We must work hard to remove illiteracy. When I say we, it refers to what? Refers to people in general. When I say you in this context, it refers to what? People in general. Then they. They refers to what? Authorities here in this particular. Once again, people. They are going for inspection. It refers to what? Once again, people in general. So, these are the other ways and means you can use the pronouns. Now, the pronoun it has no specific meaning, but it can be used to refer time, distance and weather condition, and also a very general aspect or life in general. If I have to use the word time, what time is it? Pronoun, what time is it? If I have to talk of distance, how far is it? Here the word it is what? A pronoun. How far is it? If I have to talk of it as what? In terms of weather, it means it is raining. If I have to speak the general aspects, it is what? It refers to what? Life in general. It is very kind of you. It is surprising that you should say that. It is so nice of you. All these refer to what? General aspects. Now, let us do a quick recap of what we have understood with this parts of speech, that is pronoun. First, we began by understanding what a pronoun is. I said pronouns are words which substitute for a noun. I live in a big house. I am substituting house for one, small one. This is small one. Then it is used as a substitute for a whole noun phrase. I said my professor, and instead of not repeating my professor, I am using the word, which word? He. My professor, here I am using the word he. The third thing that we understood about pronoun is that it refers directly to some aspect of the situation. It is going to rain. It is hot today. It is a warm day. It refers to any situation for that matter. Now, these are the three ways in which a pronoun could be understood. Then we went on to understand the features of a pronoun. At first, they occur as subject. This is what we understood. She bought a car. It comes as a subject. Then it comes as an object. The second way, that is a positioning of pronoun. All young people admired him. It comes as an object. Third is, it comes as a prepositional phrase. The children played with him. I have given the marker. It does not occur with a modifier. You can say a big car. You can say a big house. You cannot say a big it. You cannot say a big with. You cannot say a big she. You cannot say a big he. It doesn't occur with modifiers. Pronouns also show the distinction in number. There are certain pronouns for singular form and certain pronouns for plural form. In singular form, I said the pronouns were I, he, she, it. In plural form, the pronouns are we and they. Now, you is found both in the singular as well as the plural. Now, in terms of person, the first person, I, we pronouns are used. In the second person, you pronouns are used. In the third person, he, she, it, they pronouns are used. Now, later on, we went to understand the types of pronouns. Pronouns can be divided into different types: central pronouns, reciprocal pronouns, demonstrative pronouns, indefinite pronouns, interrogative pronouns, compound pronouns. These are the divisions. First, we began our understanding of central pronouns, as they are used to express what? Contrast in terms of person, gender and number. There are three types of central pronouns: personal pronouns, reflexive pronouns and possessive pronoun. The first thing we understood was personal pronouns. Personal pronouns are those used to identify what? Speaker or speakers, depending upon the person, that is I or we, first person, second person and third person. Once again, number, depending upon the number. Then once again, it depends on what? The gender, depending upon the person, depending upon the number, depending upon the gender. I, we, you, he, she, it, they. Once again, all the three, what shall I say, personal pronouns depends on what? Depends on person, gender and number, especially the central pronouns. The second division of the central pronouns are reflexive pronouns. What is a reflexive pronoun? A reflexive pronoun refers back to a noun or pronoun in the same clause. How are we to understand it? They always end in self or selves. I gave you the example, the boy hurt himself. Him plus self, himself. Once again, herself. Then the girl looked at herself in the mirror. They washed themselves, them plus selves, themselves. Reflexive pronouns are used for emphasis. The dance itself is very ordinary, but the music is excellent. Here, it is used for what? Emphasizing as to how the dance was ordinary, but the music was good. Second, she repaired the heater herself. When I said repaired the heater herself, I mean to say that I am giving emphasis for what? I am giving emphasis about the work she has executed. Reflexive pronouns can also be idiomatic in its usage. This is a very, very common usage. Enjoy yourself, help yourselves. Here also, if you look into it, reflective pronouns agree with the noun or pronoun it refers back to in person, number and gender. We move into the third division of the central pronouns, that is possessive pronouns. Possessive pronouns indicate what? They indicate ownership. They occur in two forms, one as determiners and the other as independent pronouns. Look at these sentences. They occur as determiners. For that, their bike is green in color. Now, instead of telling his bike, I am using, they are occurring as what? In the determiners in the noun phrase. Your house is beautiful. Once again, they are occurring as what? Determiners, your. They occur as independent pronouns. This pen is hers. That car is yours. They come as what? Hers as well as yours. The second pronouns is reciprocal. What is a reciprocal pronoun? They show a two-way relationship. They cheated one another. They blamed each other, one another, each other. You should help one another. So, all these talk about what? reciprocal relationship. Relative pronouns are another division, the third division, used to link the relative clause to the head of the noun phrase. I met my friend who had just returned from work. Now the word who is a relative pronoun. The head of a noun phrase is my friend. The old man whom you saw is my grandfather. Now which is the head of the noun phrase? Old man. Now which is a relative pronoun here? Whom is a relative pronoun. The car that I use has an inbuilt heater. Once again, that is a relative pronoun. The car is a head of the noun phrase. She has received the gift which we sent her yesterday. Now which is a relative pronoun. There is also another subdivision, that is relative compound pronouns. This particular pronoun is compounded by the word ever, whoever, whenever, whatever. When I say whoever, then it is a relative pronoun. It is a relative compound pronoun. Whoever speaks the best wins the prize. I will meet you whenever I come to Bangalore. I will give you whatever you like. Relative compound pronoun. It talks about what? Ever. And there is whoever talks about what? The relative. It talks about something related to a person or a thing. We come to another division, the fourth division, that is interrogative pronoun. Interrogative pronouns are used to ask questions. As you know, interrogative sentence. Interrogative pronouns are used to ask questions, and there are different interrogative pronouns in the use of certain animate and inanimate nouns. That is, different pronouns are used in the case of animate and inanimate nouns. Who is this boy? Here it is animate. Whose bike is this? You can understand whether it is animate or inanimate. Whom did they select as the leader? The word whom, and then talks about what? Leader. The word who talks about what? The boy. The word whose talks about what? Bike. Which talks about what? The building. Now try to understand how interrogative pronouns could be understood. Interrogative pronouns continued. Here I have concentrated the uses of what and which. To begin with, it can be used to contrast what type of meaning, definite and indefinite meaning. What watches did you buy? When I say what watches, I mean it is an indefinite meaning, in the sense there is a huge choice. When I say huge choice, there is an open choice for you. You have many brands of watches. You can select from many brands of watches. But when I say which watches did you buy, I mean to understand the choice is definite, but there is a small number of what? Alternatives for you. So make sure when you use the word what, it could be an indefinite and an open choice. When we use the word which, it is what? Definite, and a choice is between a small number of alternatives. The fifth pronoun that we understood was demonstrative pronouns. What are they? That, this, these, those. Now, what are they used to express? To begin with, they are used to express what? Contrast. Contrast between two things, someone or something near and someone or something far off or distant. This is an interesting article. It reflects what? Something near. That was a boring piece of news. It reflects what? Something far off. Once again, it shows the difference in attitude. What has this friend of yours done? What has that friend of yours done? It shows the difference in attitude. Indefinite pronouns are of two types. That is, those that convey less definite meaning. They are compound pronouns and pronouns with of. Compound pronouns has these lists that I have put forth: everyone, everybody, everything, someone, somebody, something. It lacks what? Specificity. It is not definite. Someone came to see you. Everybody likes you. One is considered more elegant than the usage of what? Buddy. Pronouns with of. None of us attended the seminar, or none attended the seminar. All came home. All of us came home. I have given you the list of pronouns that could come with of. Then we went on to understand the special uses of one. It is used in the numerical sense. I will take one book. Used as a substitute for a singular or plural noun. It is used in general. One should not spend money. Here, when I say in general, you can be substituted with what? With the word one. You should not spend money. You can be substituted with one. It also has which implication? Positive implication in the uses of some and any. When I say someone tell the police, it is definite. When I say did anyone tell the police, it is an indefinite. It has a negative implication. When I say something, it is more polite. You are expecting your guest to take something. When I say anything, it implies you are not expecting your guest to accept. I also listed the usage of pronoun we. In plural form, it is referred to as single person. There is an authorial we. In the editorial of the newspaper also, when we use the word we, it means what? Single person. When the king or queen speaks, we means what? Single person. Pronoun we can refer to a third person, but that could be very sarcastic. Let us try to understand the pronouns you, they and we. You, they and we in general refers to what? People. When I say you cannot borrow a book from this library, it refers to everybody. It refers to group or groups in the society. We must work hard. They, authorities, are going for inspection. They means what? Once again, group. They means what? Authority. We means what? A small group. It refers to what? It refers to people in general. And finally, I ended my lecture on pronouns with the usage of the word it. It refers to time. What time is it? It is 10 o'clock by my watch. To distance, how far is it? In terms of weather, it is raining. It also refers to general aspects. That is, it is very kind of you. So today we have understood pronouns, and in the next class we shall understand other grammatical item. Thank you.